$17.8 million guaranteed.
Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. I'm not Deontay. That's Deontay.
You guys are high rollers. Let me just
know
tell
what?
you.
Jared Wiley was like, watch this, so.
Hey, welcome into Thy Kingdom Come. We're a podcast where we talk all things Chiefs and NFL. I'm Deontay. I'm not Deontay. That's Deontay.
Yeah, you're not me. So.
I'm not you.
Back
That is
off.
a wild thing to say.
That is a wild thing to say.
That is a wild thing to say.
That's a hot take. Why can we never get the beginning of the podcast right?
Why can't you ever get the beginning of the
Why
podcast
can't I
right?
ever get the beginning of the podcast right? Dear God. Oh, my gosh. I'm Justin. That's Deontay. Josiah is behind the camera. I'm gonna change Josiah's title today. Okay. Josiah's no longer the research guy.
No longer the research guy.
Yep. He
I
is
love
the
it.
data analyst.
Did the board approve this?
He is our data analyst. So he is not the guy that just looks things up. He's the guy that observes things as well. Okay, so he prepares our spreadsheets. He gets things ready for us. You are a data analyst, so you don't have to know everything on the fly, but you will analyze the data as
That's
we.
the important. That's important to me. Is that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I just know where to find
Wait,
it.
hold on, time out. You don't know everything?
I know. This is shocker.
Yeah, we definitely. Yeah, we needed to change.
5
his
months
name
into
for
the
sure.
podcast.
Yeah. So we might need to just replace him overall, I guess. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Never.
Josiah, we love you.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he agrees. Is that your resignation?
No.
Did you just Tinder your
No.
So is it Tinder resignation or tender resignation?
I think it's you tender your
You tender?
your resignation.
Tender. Okay. This has nothing to do with football, but again, welcome to
Ask
Thy
the
Kingdom Come.
analyst.
Yeah. Ask our data analyst. Welcome to Thy Kingdom Come. So it's preseason week 1, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've got a game this week.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a game. Football.
This Saturday, the 10th.
This Saturday, the 10th. There was the Hall of Fame game last week,
Yep.
which the Hall of Fame game, we got to see for the first time ever in action in the NFL, the new kickoff rule be enforced.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about it?
It was a little. It was definitely different to see.
Yeah.
A little shaky at times.
Right.
There was one where I think it was. I think Houston was kicking off, and Chicago, one of the guys, as the kicker was about to start his little trot to kick it, the guy started moving. Now, obviously, he got a flag, so they threw it there. So, but it was still like, just seeing it just kind of play out. And it was very odd with them being so close. And then you just see the ball comes over. And then, like, once he touches it, like, it's almost like everybody's like a scrambling drill. Trying to get, the return team was trying to get their head on a body.
Right.
And then the kickoff team is like, oh, where is there a spot for me to slip through so I can go crush this guy?
Well,
So-
and you think about it, there is one guy that's going to be free at all times.
yeah.
I mean, technically 2, including the kicker,
Mhm.
because you only have 9 guys blocking.
Right.
But you've got 10 guys for the kicking team lined up on that line. So somebody's going to be free,
Yeah, that's true.
So
Mhm.
you just got to try to line your guys up to where the kicker is kicking in the direction that you have guys overstacked. But to me, it reminded me of like old colonial day fighting. Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes.
Right.
Right. So they're just lined up, 5 yards apart, getting ready to shoot at each other, which is crazy because that's probably the 5-10 yards is probably as close as they were back in the day.
Yeah.
Like shooting at each other. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Yikes, that'd be crazy. I don't know how we got onto history.
That was you.
It was the
That
devil.
was me.
It wasn't even me.
No, it wasn't even you,
I'm pretty
man.
surprised.
Jeez. But yeah, it's just kind of funny to see.
Yeah.
Um,
In that game, we didn't see the main starters. We didn't see
right.
Caleb Williams and Keenan Allen or DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift or C.J. Stroud, Nico Diggs, Tank Dell. We didn't get to see any of those guys.
Right.
So
Well, in playing off of the new kickoff rule, we had talked about the potential of Justin Reed doing the kickoffs for the Chiefs, and Dave Tobe said that Harrison Butker, he was confident in him, and we're just like, that was just kind of out of left field.
yeah,
But from camp, it's reported that Harrison Butker has been absolutely killing it on those kickoffs, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because this guy's been kicking the football for 20 some odd years,
yeah,
and he's had to do it a certain way. On kickoffs, you kick it as hard as you can, right? You're not trying to pin it inbounds. You want to get it through the end zone most of the time, especially after they move the kickoff to the 35.
right,
So it's just like figuring out how to change your entire, not just mindset, but being able to physically put it into action is just kind of, it's impressive if you think about it. We just went to a new system at work that we're learning, right? And I'm just like, oh man, I got to think about this. But putting it into action's easy. I haven't been doing the same thing for 20 plus years. It's not like a repetition thing. Like, his body's been built for kickoffs to go through the end zone.
right.
And so it's impressive. He's been really good at placing the ball.
Yep.
There's been several fumbles apparently in the practices, and guys dropping the ball. If the ball hits inside those 20 yards, you have to return it.
Yep.
So it's crazy to see the little bit of panic on guys' faces when the ball doesn't, like, they drop it or it bounces before it gets to him, something like that.
Well, and there was one play in the Hall of Fame game where the guy caught it probably, I think, a half a yard in the end zone, and he could have let it drop. But I'm sure they just, I would imagine, in a moment of like, this kind of preseason, that the special teams coach is like, hey, even if it's close, run it, because you're trying to get a feel for the player. Plus, that player need to show, like, I can be your guy.
Yeah.
So he brought it out of the end zone. I think it was like a half a yard maybe. And he brought it out, and, to where he could have just let it drop, then they would have got closer, because I think he got hit pretty quickly at like the 20 or 25-yard line. But so it's just those little parts that just are factoring into things. But yeah, it was definitely different to see. But I mean, hey, it's going to bring some excitement back to the return game.
It's a lot harder to create those levels of defense from the kickoff team, because everybody's just one straight line anyways.
Right.
So everybody's going. You break through that first line, you're probably scoring a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get through there.
If you get through, you're probably scoring a touchdown.
And which teams that, like, when they see certain returners back there, that, it may be likely they just kick it out of the end zone.
Right.
Because of just how dangerous they can be.
Give them to it at the 30.
So it
might be worth it.
It's definitely a strategic side to special teams, and the special team coaches now even more so get to show what they're worth.
I am a little worried, because that means Harrison Butker's probably going to be in a lot of tackles. They say that 25% of the tackles made are by the kickers in this format. So that makes you a little bit nervous from a guy that hasn't really had to hit these returners or guys running the ball for almost their entire career, and here you go. So, I mean, Pat McAfee, start a camp, bro. Start a camp, and we'll see all of our kickers just jump in and learn how to tackle the way you tackle.
Right.
Throwing forearm shivers to the chin,
Absolutely.
So. All right, what are we gonna jump to next, brother?
Yeah, so last week we could have mentioned it, but we'll mention it this week. We had a couple contract extensions that has happened.
Yeah.
And you got one from speaking of the Chicago Bears from the Hall of Fame game. You have DJ Moore, who got a contract extension of 4-year, $110 million.
Yeah.
With $82.635 million guaranteed. And this contract is the largest in their franchise history. Listen, I'm just going to say a bunch of contracts this year and last year. It's been just franchise history type of contracts,
Man.
and money is just like I don't know where they're getting it, but
Especially
it's
with
just
the-
coming out.
Like the cap increased this year
Yeah,
by what was it, 10, 15 million, something like that?
I
don't
think it
remember
was
how much-
close to like 30.
Was it 30?
I thought so.
Okay, so 30 million, but you've got the camp or the cap that was extended. So there's there's that.
Yeah,
That's kind of
That looks like it looks like 30.
yeah, so 30.
yeah.
So I mean there is that little bit that they're probably dipping into, but it's man. It's kind of crazy. So here in 5-10 years, are we going to see billion-dollar contracts?
Right.
Uh,
Better not. No.
I mean,
You
like,
may.
it's-
They increased it by 13%. So
That's
this
insane.
year. So 30 million.
I mean, you have Patrick Mahomes signed. He signed that 10-year, $500 million deal or whatever. What if somebody signs like a 10-year deal in like 5-10 years and it's worth like $1 billion? Like that's $100 million a year.
Right.
We're getting close to that,
I
man.
can't even imagine.
We're really getting close. Like
I mean-
every year, it seems to be that the per year salary for quarterbacks and stuff go up like $5 million every year. It seems like the max is like another $5 million a year.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to that. We're at what, like almost $60 million a year for the top paid quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
that's, it's crazy.
Yeah, so with that, it makes him kind of the ninth. I think it's the ninth receiver this year that's kind of have gotten a contract extension, and yeah, he's getting some money. Last year he
Money.
was, his first year in Chicago, and he produced well. He's produced at Carolina when he was
Yep.
there as well, and now he got some weapons alongside of him. And I mean, they do get a new quarterback, so I had to see how that plays out. But he got paid for what he's due. So congratulations to him.
Props.
So and then who also got paid for the Kansas City Chiefs is Harrison Butker.
Harry Butts.
Yep. So yep. So
that happened.
yeah, that happened. He signed a 4-year, $25.6 million contract extension, $17.8 million guaranteed,
Sheesh.
which makes him the highest paid kicker. And I know you're like, man, the highest paid. That's at 6.2, I think, or $6.3 million dollars a year is what he'll be making, just passing Elliott and whoever else was.
You can add two of our running backs together, and he's still making more a year.
Yeah.
You
So
could probably add like our top 3 running backs together, and he's still making
yeah,
more a year.
so
I think.
Bucker got paid.
Which it's a good move, man.
A very
It's-
good move.
You got to think of we don't win probably half of those games we won last year without Harrison Butker.
He was very instrumental.
Yes.
Very. So some of his stats as last year, as he was on fire.
Yeah.
I would say last year, but Harrison Butker,
You got it in front of you?
yeah, was.
Oh,
let's
here.
see. Yep, last year he had a 94.3 field goal percentage, which ranked him 8th in the league. Extra point, he was 100%.
Yep.
100%, which was tied first. His 60 yards was his longest of the year, which tied fourth. And in total points, he put up 137, which was fourth. And guess what? Harrison Butker is going down right now in history, kicking the longest field goal in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, and so let's think about his playoff stats. I don't think he has them. If I remember right, I think he's like 32 of 35 in the postseason. And then you jump to the 40-plus yards. I think he's 13 of 16. 50-plus yards, he's like 6 of 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's accuracy, man.
Right.
We can trust the dude to put through a 50-plus yard field goal in crunch time. So,
Yeah, we understand that was very crucial for the Chiefs in winning some of those games down the
Yeah.
stretch, and period, because of just we understand some of the struggles we've had that we did have last year with moving the ball and such, and we seen like in that Miami game, he had like 5 or 6 field goals, I mean, he was huge. I mean, we couldn't get him. We was leading most of that game. We couldn't necessarily get in the end zone, but he was kicking the ball. The defense was stopping him, and that game turned out like it did.
Mhm.
So I think he was very due for this. I'm happy and glad to see it that they was able to find some money and make this deal work. Because man, I'm telling you, man, he is a tremendous player. He's put up a ton of points for us last year when we've kind of struggled in the red zone. So I think that this going into this year, he does have a different holder now, and I know that I think it was last week or so. One of the practices, he missed a few kicks, and I think they were both left, and it was just kind of eye opening looking at it because everyone's thinking like, I mean, Bucker don't really miss like that. You know what I'm saying? So and it went the same direction both times.
Right.
Laces may not be right,
Right.
and maybe something on the
Maybe a
shoulder.
little over rotation of the ball. Well, you got to
And
think.
it's gonna be they got to work out that chemistry.
Right.
You know what
So
I mean?
that's I think that's more of a placeholder snapper. So I mean James
Yep.
Winchester's the best in the game
Yeah, he's
at
solid.
long snapping. He is the most consistent with rotation. So you just got to get Matt Ariza used to that rotation, figure out where he's catching it,
Yeah, and how that feels.
how to rotate it.
Yep, that's very true.
So he needs to. He might be rotating it a little too much, So
yeah, so they're kind of working that out and different
Yeah.
things. And during the practice, they're getting a lot of reps at that. So I mean they got to figure it out because we're gonna need that or whatever. So we'll see there. But with Bucker getting this contract, that gives the Chiefs, in position wise, the three players that are top paid in their position, with him, Chris Jones at D tackle, and then Travis Kelce at tight end. So it's just cool just to see that we are investing in these players, and they're also producing behind their contract. So hey, Bucker, here's your contract. Now
Yep.
just continue to produce, and we'll ride these the next 4 years plus this year, and then just see what happens.
See what happens. Yeah.
So-
and to correct myself, it's 32 of 36, not 32 of 35.
It was in the postseason.
My bad. Yeah, in the
Postseason.
postseason. So I mean, that's still a what is that? Like an 80, almost an 89%. Or I'm sorry, that's
Ask the data
that's
guy.
like an 89% field goal percentage.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty.
89.
That's pretty
32
good.
of 36, right?
32 of 36.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
then-
88.88889.
Right, and he's 95% for extra points
Yeah.
in the postseason as well. I think he's got 158 total points
Yeah.
in the postseason,
Just a beast.
which is crazy.
Listen,
So
with those stats, all you fantasy lovers,
Man.
first round draft pick,
First round
first
draft pick.
overall pick right there.
there was somebody in my fantasy league last year that picked Harrison Bucker in the first round.
Oh man,
I thought it was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Harrison Bucker in the first round. We had 7 Chiefs players go in the first round last year.
Hey,
We had 10 teams.
I don't know what they were
guys.
thinking. So
I picked
That's
Christian McCaffrey at pick 9.
right.
Pick 9.
Yeah.
I got Christian McCaffrey last year.
So yes, draft
What the heck?
Bucker first overall. I want to see it somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see it
Tweet at
somewhere.
Thy kingdom come.
Yeah.
TKC.
So So let's chat about some of this. So I think it was 2 weeks ago. Mark Donovan had a press conference. A press conference. From practices or whatever, and he had some. There was a question or two that came out about, hey, is there any traction on the stadium whole talk, the stadium contract? So one thing that he did kind of relate to or mention is that this time, as they work out this contract, which they're here where they're at up until 2030 or whatever. So, but they're looking. This next contract will be without the Royals. So
Right.
they're looking to kind of separate that and do their own thing. And basically, Royals, you guys do your own thing. And so he did mention that by the end of the year, we should roughly around the end of the year, we should know the future of the Chiefs.
Well, and we would have to,
Yes,
right? Because if they're going to build a new stadium,
They gotta
and
start working.
They got to start work.
Yep.
You got to think it's going to take a minimum of 2 to 3 years to build it. They could probably get it done in like a year or so. I mean, KU's football stadium started getting built this off season for college, and they're not going to play there all through this year. It's going to take right up until preseason for college football the following year before that field might be ready.
Ready, yeah.
You know, so you got to think with an NFL stadium, you amplify that, right?
Right,
Obviously,
absolutely.
there's going to be more money and more workers put on it, but at the same time, like it still takes time.
Yep.
You got to get past like all the legislation, all the politics that go into something like
Yep.
that. You got to have all that, and so you got to start. You have to start now.
Yeah.
Have to start now.
And we know
So-
that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Allegiant Stadium, which was I think is the last stadium built,
Mm-hmm.
took just over 2.5 years.
Yep.
From concept to design. From concept design to completion, it took 40 months.
Yeah.
So that was after it was approved, design on paper to actually
Right.
being built. It
Yeah.
was almost 4 years.
Yeah.
So
40 years.
that's what it says.
4 years.
Yeah,
I thought you
almost.
said 40 years.
No, 40 months.
You're-
Sorry, I may have
dear-
said 40 years, but 40 months is how long it took.
He's like,
40
wait.
years.
That's
Man,
not
I wasn't
even
alive.
possible.
Construction 2.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so it's essentially 3 to 3.5 years that it's going to take for the stadium from concept to build
Yep.
to finish, and that's not including all the legislation, right? Like, so, man, that's
There's just work to be done there.
yeah.
So yeah, you're right. They would need to know, hey, we staying in Missouri or are we
Mhm.
going to Kansas?
Kansas.
We know that Kansas is,
It's the most
going out there to drop some, some money in
Right.
regards to some of the voting on things over there for
We are
the
ready.
potential.
So, as the only Kansan in this room, everybody I've talked to in Kansas, we will drop 3/8 cent tax on things. I'll drop. You know what?
You guys are high rollers. Let
Yeah,
me just
yeah.
tell you, a 3/8 cent tax.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
No,
in
I know.
Missouri. And the funny thing is,
It's
like,
true.
so we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
I have expressed my opinion. That tax is already being taxed. It's not an added tax. It's already being taxed right now. It's what Missouri's paying, right?
Yeah.
You got to think about it. Do you think that 3 cent tax is going away? I don't think so. We're going to move on from that because that gets political. But I'll pay.
This is why we call it
you know
hot
what?
topics, baby.
I'll pay
Yeah,
I'll pay
exactly.
a full cent, bro. Full cent.
He's serious. Serious.
Full cent.
That's when you know he's serious.
Yeah.
Dead
This
serious.
is his paycheck he's talking about.
full cent.
Full cent.
Full cent.
Okay.
Full
Not
cent-
full cent. We're gonna
no,
full
full
send
send the full
full
cent.
cent. Yeah, full send the
so,
full cent.
So Mark Donovan, there you hear it. So
Kansas, we're
You have
ready.
one Kansan on your side
You
at
look
least.
at
Yeah.
you look at it just to the west of the Legends and Village West area. There's a lot of real estate. There's a lot of youth sporting complexes going up over there. It's a very popular area. We got the Kansas Speedway over there. We got the Kansas City Monarchs over there. We got Sporting Kansas City. It's already kind of a pretty well-developed area, and there's a lot to do out there. Right now where the stadium's at, you got to drive a while to do it. There's already we've got hotels and casinos already out there. We've got the Legends. We've got what is it? Nebraska Furniture Mart, even though it's in Kansas.
Bass Pro right there.
Well, it's not the Bass Pro. It's
Cabela's.
the Cabela's. You've got the Great Wolf Lodge. So there's a lot to do out there already. So
Yeah, it just has more traffic. Stay in Missouri. So there we go.
What a great case.
But yeah, so
I mean, how can you argue that?
one way
I can't.
one way or other, yeah, we're going to know. So Kansas, Missouri, question mark. So, but he said, hopefully by the end of the year, we should have an update. So
Right.
I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out.
I mean, realistically, from downtown Kansas City, the drive to the complex, if it went to Village West, would be maybe like an additional 4 minutes. You know, if you're coming from downtown KC to Village West, as opposed to downtown KC out to the stadiums now, you're adding like 4 or 5 minutes. It's really not that much of a difference. You know what I mean? So if you still want to stay in downtown KC, you can do that. You can have that nightlife before, after the game, and then go out there. Like, realistically, it comes down to, we also want to invest in the city as well.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that our city is also benefiting from people coming in for the games and stuff,
Yep.
especially with, having the most likable, at least to Chiefs fans, but one of the most likable players in the NFL.
Yeah.
In Travis Kelce, not Patrick. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes, like, people want to come see that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. So we have that. So
Mhm.
we'll see kind of a little bit about that. Another little topic we got, Rasheed Rice. So we understand, as season is coming into form. With the first preseason game coming this Saturday.
Let's go.
There's that. So Rasheed Rice, the big question is, will he be suspended this year?
Doesn't look like it.
He did have, so this I think it was yesterday. He had his first kind of interview since really the accident, outside of putting anything out there on social media, anything like that. This was his first time talking to that, which he only talked, a couple reporters, one question asked, just regarding the status and everything. And, both kind of two reporters kind of said the same question, but in a few different words. But he did repeat the same, just kind of the same answer as his legal team was kind of handling the situation. And, wait to hear things further. But, we all understand that a suspension is to come. It's just a matter of, will it be this year or will it be next year?
Well, and the closer you get to the season starting, the less likely it is to happen this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here in a couple of weeks, if his suspension hasn't been finalized for this season, it's probably going to be pushed to next year, which is I'm guessing is going to be the case. So
yeah, so I think this goes that goes into it, and plus, I mean, let's be honest, the footage and different things is out there. So really, if you want to just know the backstory, you can go see it. So because of that, you just know that a suspension is coming. It's just a matter of where.
Yep.
So, but outside of that, also in his interview, he just spoke and said the wide receiver room is it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
And they're competing and they're meshing well. He's I think it's understood that probably it's been looking like Hollywood Brown, probably like that number one guy. But Rasheed Rice has been just helping a lot within Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, just in the mesh of the team, the receiver room, and just some of that chemistry with Patrick Mahomes and some of those things that they've been there. Now, I mean, to be honest, Hollywood Brown is a veteran guy for us, to be honest, in the receiving room. So you have that there, and he's been stepping up. But Rasheed Rice has been playing well in practices, making catches. They have been doing some scenarios where they have brought Worthy short and Rice deep.
Yeah.
As we saw last year, he had that was a 67-yard catch that he had from Mahomes.
Yep.
So they're kind of switching up some of these things. And Rasheed Rice is that yak guy.
He's that yak guy.
He's that yak guy. So, you can see that in some of the practices where where he's getting some of those catches, and he's breaking away and getting some of those yards. So, he's doing well. He's competing. I think his mental game is on track, and understanding that in the back of the mind there's still this issue, but all he can do is just what he can do now.
Right.
And then, have the people that he has on his team kind of handle the situation. And then as those things start to hitting, kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so hopefully some of these veteran guys, now that the team is kind of coming together, they're kind of helping him just, I don't know, just refocus and some things like that. So,
Well, and our wide receiver room is super competitive.
yes.
I mean, I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. If we have probably 11 guys that could make the roster.
Yeah. I mean, you got Rice, Brown, Worthy,
Right.
and then Watson, who did come back from
Yep.
his foot injury, which was pretty scary, but he did step back in.
Yep.
So that's really good to see. He hasn't really done the contact, but he has done some of like the 11-on-11
Yep.
and seen catch the pass. So that's good to see that, because he's just kind of been that guy that's that has stood, that has stepped up in ways. So
Yep.
you got Watson, you got Tony, you got McCole Hardman, you got
Yep.
Sky Moore, Nico Remihigo. Man, I don't know.
Justin
the guy's
Ross.
name. Yeah, Justin Ross.
Cornell Powell.
Yep, Montrell Washington.
Montrell Washington.
He's been stepping up.
Well, and Montrell Washington, I think, was really close to making the team last year too.
Yeah, he's
Honestly, I think we probably would have benefited halfway
Yeah.
through the season when we were dropping all them passes.
Yeah, he's competing out there.
Yeah.
So, the receiver room is deep,
And-
and I think it's good because I think these guys need to compete.
Yeah.
Because of what we seen last year, people got to step up, and,
Well-
and there's guys coming in that's doing it. Even in our tight end room,
Yep.
with Wiley and stuff, you've seen Gray making plays. So it's just real good all around to
Right.
to
Well,
better that.
and something Trent McDuffie said, he said he's enjoying watching it because the biggest thing to him is catching passes.
Yes.
And they're out there doing just that. They're
Yep.
catching passes. Now, our defense has been flying around. We did see Jared Wiley put a stiff move on Drew
Drew
Tranquill
Tranquill, yes.
yesterday. And
Maybe a
he
little,
maybe a little
push
shot,
off,
a little- but it's inside. You can't really see it.
Yeah.
It was a great move.
Yes.
And Drew Tranquill is one of the best coverage linebackers in the game.
And he's been, they've been like, it's been seen that he's been playing well.
Yeah.
Out there, even like some plays that he's made, like one play he made on Kelsey, and Kelsey's out there even
Yep.
hyping him up,
Yep.
or whatever. So, and they saying that Drew Trank was kind of been pretty vocal in some ways, like
Yeah.
in a bantering manner, but it's
Yeah.
like good, kind of
Oh,
to the
100%.
offense. So it's just a good camaraderie, and he's
You gotta have a
he's-
little bit of trash talk.
Yeah,
man.
oh yeah.
Gotta have a little bit.
But Jared Wiley was like, watch this, so he hit him with a move. So that was
It was
that was
such
cool
a
to
good
see.
move, man.
So
it was really good.
Yeah, it's good to kind of see that part competing.
Yeah.
A few little just takes there. We since we I just mentioned on Justin Watson before
Yep.
we talk about something else. We've seen some of these guys come back.
Yep.
We've seen Joe Tooney step back in.
Yep.
Caliendo was taking those reps, but we've seen Tooney kind of come back from injury and practicing. Derek Noddy returned,
Noddy.
which is huge because Chris Jones, he's been out a couple days
Yep.
with the shoulder stinger. So
Which, honestly, stingers usually go away after
Yeah.
a week or so.
Yep.
You might have a little bit of a linger, but I mean, he'll be fine.
Yep.
He'll be good.
So yeah, he came back.
Some DBs come back.
Yep, Najee Johnson,
Yep.
Jalen Watson. So it's good because
Brian Cook.
Yep, Jalen Watson made some plays.
Yeah, he did.
To where happy to see. Coach Spags still said things are still for grab, and he just said that we have to get healthy in the secondary because there's some injuries, and so it's they're fighting through it to kind of see some other guys step up.
Well, we've got one of the youngest, if not the youngest, secondary
Yes,
in the NFL.
yes, we do.
But in terms of experience, we probably have the most experienced secondary
Yeah,
in the NFL when it comes to playoffs. I mean, because we had that 2022 draft class of DBs was absolutely insane, and
Yes.
they haven't lost a playoff game.
yeah.
So it's
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Being a guy in the league and you've gone 2 years and
Yep.
you haven't lost a playoff game.
George Karlaftis never lost a playoff
That's
game.
crazy.
Well, and the guys that did come in, they call themselves. I think it's either the Fat Five. I think it is.
Yeah, so it was-
is what they're calling themselves with Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Brian Cook, Najee Johnson, and Trent McDuffie. So
Yeah.
they kind of have like this kind of this closeness together, calling themselves kind of that Fat Five. And you're just seeing them since they've kind of came into the league. They have produced and played well in big moments. Yeah, they have some. They have some flaws where we've seen, Joshua Williams maybe miss some plays and some reads, but these guys are stepping up. I mean, we've seen, Brian Cook just take it down the sideline against the Miami game from that.
Dude, those high
pitch.
knees.
Yeah, from Mike Edwards. So,
He looked like he was running for the Olympics.
man, my dude was getting it.
He was getting it.
So, yeah. it's just good to see what those guys are doing. So, yeah, that's that. Another little hot take moment right here that we have going around the league is Brandon Ayuk
Mm-hmm.
for the 49ers. We understand that the Patriots, the Browns, and Steelers, they were the first to be interested. But it has looked like the latest update is that the Patriots are no longer pursuing because there's kind of been just some things just not meshing there, whatever the talks are.
Right.
And Coach Shanahan said that they did release Brandon Ayuk to negotiate, or him and his agent to speak with teams. But it's not all to say that they can't get a deal done to keep
Right.
him in 49 and San Fran.
Right.
So there's that. So
But it's so this whole situation is just crazy because it from his camp from the start. He's like, no, I want to be in San Francisco. I don't plan on leaving anywhere. And then, but he's like, I want to trade.
right.
And he's like, oh, I want to talk to other teams now.
Yep.
Well, and so I'm just like, it's either this or that. You can't be saying both things. And
Right.
you know that. I mean, I'm sure his teammates are all there for him. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like they want him to return. So I'm sure their relationship's pretty good.
Well,
But
and I
when
mean,
it seems like he's just checked out.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you think about it, I mean, he's kind of have what seemed to become the number one receiver there. We know Debo is electrifying,
Right.
but some of his injuries, like, that kind of plagued him last year, took him off the field and stuff. And so Ayuk really did step up at 91. Even as we saw it, that he has a better rating on Madden than Debo Samuel.
Right.
So, there's that. So,
Yeah.
but it's just shown that he stepped up when they needed it. He's been healthy. And then there has been a little report that, what the Browns and Patriots did offer, it was that the 49ers accepted it, but it's kind of come down to money. And I bet that's where things fell off with the Patriots.
Right.
Is that money wouldn't line up maybe what Ayuk is wanting to see. And
I
so,
feel like the Steelers would be a team that would be willing to just dish.
yeah.
You know?
Hey, I mean, I know we talk about, like the money thing, just throwing us out there. I mean, could the Chiefs offer anything?
No. I don't think we don't have anything to offer, I think.
So and
I don't think we'll benefit from having Ayuk on the team.
And I was gonna ask what you guys think the likeliest trade outcome is, because it looks like the 49ers want to receive a veteran wide receiver and a package of picks.
Yeah.
So whichever team can offer that veteran and then also the picks, will
We're
probably
not giving
get
up
it.
Hollywood Brown.
We can offer Kadarius Toney. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can
What I
offer.
mean,
You can't offer.
You can offer maybe a McCall Harbin.
No, they ain't gonna take him. Bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's.
I mean, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, that is true.
Twice
That's
against
true.
twice against the 49ers.
So yeah,
And he's caught significant passes in those games
Yeah.
against the 49ers.
I
so.
would agree that obviously I don't think we could, because he's kind of looking for some of that money. That I think that it was reported that he's kind of looking for money that put him in the top 5 of highest paid. And right now we're just not looking to pay that out.
Nope.
When we we got the Bucker deal done, and now we're kind of looking at how did this Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith play out. And I'm gonna be honest, I think if those two things pan out, we could see the end of Tooney after this year.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but we
I
got
mean, sad
Hunter
to
Norzak
and Mike Kelly
and Mike Caliendo.
or a veteran guard that we can get. Now,
Yep.
Tooney has been arguably one of the best guards in the league.
yeah. Which is why he was paid the most until recently.
Yeah, and I think if Humphrey and Smith pan out, I think that this would probably be the end of Nick Bolton as well.
Yeah.
I think that
Because we wouldn't be able to pay.
Mm-mm.
We might be able to do Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith, which I feel
if
you
we don't
have
do
to
anything
go
with Tooney,
right.
because if we do let him go, it's only $11.5 million hit,
Right.
which isn't like, well, that is a lot of money, but it's not in compared to what you gain
Yeah.
to be able to
Right,
get an
'cause if you
extension
can-
done.
If you
for
can
like a
sign, if you can sign a veteran guy for, 7 million, 8 million,
Yeah.
and then you get Because
if you can get Smith around, if you can keep Smith somewhere around 17, 18,
right,
would be spectacular.
So you'd be saving money there.
Yeah, and Humphrey
so even with
probably
that cap hit that will take, like getting rid of Tooney, we'll still be technically saving money.
Yeah,
because we can bring in a veteran guy, or maybe Mike Caliendo and Hunter Norzad just show up this year.
Yeah,
and we're able to give them a little bit more money.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, hey, you did great. Here's a little bit more money.
Yep.
And we want you to stay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yep. They can also, look to restructure Jawan Taylor.
Yep.
Now I feel like that maybe has more in the not in the front of the mind, but in the back, because I don't know, maybe he shows out this year, but they're maybe thinking like, man, we maybe don't really want to extend this just because of some of the shakiness. But all those little things get worked out. Outside of that, he did great. Run block, pass block.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some little pieces there to work around. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that we can make a move for them, especially for what they're looking. Since we only have Hollywood for a year, and we just got them, that it makes sense. So you're not looking to move those guys, and we've been able to prove Mark Donovan, Brett Veach, they've been able to look at and just say like, man, hey, we've been able to do what we've done and have success, and not have and really put emphasis where we need to in other places. Mm-hmm. Not that we won't in the receiving room, but we've been able to put emphasis here, and these guys have stepped up. So we may be good. So.
And if I'm a guy at the end of this season, say the Chiefs repeat or they make it to the Super Bowl again, which I fully expect them to at minimum make the Super Bowl, if not win it all. I think our team looks the best it has since Tyreek. Even when Tyreek was on the team, I think this team is kind of stacking up to look a little better.
Yeah.
Especially our defense being better than it was when Tyreek was here. Tyreek was here. But
and I think our receiving core is highly just I don't know. I think it's probably the best receiving core that Patrick Mahomes has had all
top
around
to bottom,
since he's been a quarterback in the league.
Well, so you look at that. If I'm a veteran guy in the league, I don't have many years left, but I'm still playing at an elite level. I'm taking a pay cut to go to a team that's going to win.
Yeah.
To give you the best chance at winning a Super Bowl. How many
That's
guys?
Why I would
There's
love to
so
see
many guys in the league that haven't won a Super Bowl, but have played on elite team. I'd be a guy, Trent Williams, man.
Yeah, he's kind of holding out right now.
Right.
So.
I mean, I would say if I'm Trent Williams and I won a Super Bowl, I might go to the team that's beat me in the Super Bowl twice. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been in the Super Bowl. I mean, they've been in the Final Four 5 of the last 6 years, I think. Mm-hmm. So they've been in the NFC Championship 5 of the last 6 years.
They've been that team to beat for sure.
Right. And they just can't get over the hump.
Yeah.
I would try to go to a team that could do it. So
that's why I hope that Hollywood Brown breakout year, and I don't know, maybe we're able to offer a little money or he's willing to take this to have a future. Yeah, I would love to see that, but we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. There's one thing we didn't quite get to this week that we'll definitely get to next week, and I'll preface that by saying Patrick Mahomes was disrespected this last week.
Yeah.
He was disrespected. There's no way, I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson is better than Patrick Mahomes. We're not going to dive into it, but I know something came out where players between end of November, end of December is when they were polled for this. But I really think it's based on players just disliking the fact that Patrick Mahomes is as successful as he is.
Fuel the fire, poke the bear.
Yep. That's fine. That's bulletin board material. Nick Wright pulled out a new bulletin board this week.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill was on it twice. Oh man. So I'm frustrated at that. So we'll get into that maybe a little bit next week. We'll probably open with that, just so we have time to talk about it in case.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll jump into like a recap of the
preseason game Saturday, baby.
Game.
Yeah.
So, and we might. I've been talking to the guys. We might do like a little mini draft show where we talk about like draft things, and if we do like a group team, for an NFL fantasy football draft, we'll go ahead and maybe just put out like a little 10-minute video every week. We'll record it same day. It's just going to be a separate video from this. That way, if you want to watch fantasy football stuff, you can watch that. If you want to watch podcast stuff where we just kind of recap the week from the Chiefs and just kind of around the NFL, you can do that. So still working that out. Again, this is our first year doing this, guys. So any ideas you have, make sure you let us know. Make sure if you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps us out understand what you guys are not enjoying. Leave a comment. Make sure that you're relaying to us stuff that you want to see, because there's been several people that have commented on things either in person to us or online where we've kind of addressed that in podcasts. So let us know. And you got anything else for us, Deontay?
Nah, that's all I got. I know it's just preseason, but got a game Saturday, which is my daughter's birthday. So
how's she gonna? She's
gonna
3?
be
4. Dang. Yep. That's crazy. Well, you've been married 5.5 years, and so
we said that last week.
Episode 21. Episode 21. That's
there
why.
it is.
Yep, there it is.
There's the math.
Jeez.
Yeah. First preseason game Saturday, and then we'll look to
Jaguars.
recap some of that next week. So.
Jaguars. Josiah, you got anything else for us, man?
No, you did better ending it. That was just good. I was happy to see that. 9 out of 10 on your review. We'll talk about raises later.
Hey,
bro, I just gave you a title upgrade, and you're going to come at me like that?
That's why you got a 9 out of 10.
That's crazy.
You went up. It was good.
Man, I feel like that title upgrade should be at least a 10 out of 10 for me. But, all right, I don't have anything. These guys don't got anything else. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. So until next time, guys, thy kingdom come.